At a recent hacking conference, a researcher demonstrated how a single person with a smartphone could take control of a commercial airplane in flight.
Wow, in this week's Compute This, is this a legitimate safety threat?
Back for another Compute This, Thor, Schrock. What's up,
Hi,
Thor?
Thor.
No, it's not a legitimate safety threat at all.
That's scary. Okay, what is this?
Right.
What is this all about?
Okay, so basically, this guy had been researching this for 3 years, and there was a big hackers conference where they all come together and talk about their big exploits and everything.
That there's a conference is alarming in the first place.
Well,
yeah.
no, I mean, these are the
conference.
white hat guys. This is a huge job opportunity for this guy. He uncovered probably one of the most significant security vulnerabilities in commercial aviation. Who else is going to be more qualified to fix it than him?
Than the guy who exploited.
He's going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars for spending 3 years of his time working on this. And what he noticed was every airplane is connected to the control tower by a wireless connection, a 1 megabit wireless connection. It's not secured. Now, how many shows have we come on here and said, you know, your Wi-Fi at home, you know, you take it out of the box and just hook it up, you know, it's not secured. Anyone can just roll down the street. They can look at what you're sending over the internet. They can print to your printers. They can do stuff to your computers. You know, it's good to know that the FAA just took in the wireless transmitter out of the box and set it in there and said, yeah, it works.
Aunt Marge secures her home network, but the FAA doesn't.
Yeah, well, and it's not just the FAA, but the European equivalent to the FAA, same situation. So he noticed this signal link was not secured. So he said, I wonder what one could do with access to this link. And so he got set up with a simulator. He didn't use a real plane with real people. That would have, as he pointed out in his presentation, he actually had to say, because that would be unethical. Right. Yeah, it would be unethical to tamper with the flight in progress with a bunch of people on the plane. See, he's a good hacker, Mary. You know,
I think they're all up to no good, but keep going.
But so he sits down with a simulator, simulated connection, the whole bit, and he finds that he can monitor all of the data coming back from the plane. He can monitor the transponder location. He can listen in on the avionic transmissions, like from the pilots to the tower. He can look at speed. He can look at altitude. He can
do everything you'd want your pilot to do.
Well, he could see everything. He could see everything.
Doesn't mean he can take control
So then
of the
he said, gee, I wonder if the communication link happens to work both ways. I don't even think the FAA did this. Otherwise, on 9/11, they just would have turned the plane. But apparently, it does work both ways. So he was able then to gain access through this link to the plane's computer when the autopilot was engaged. Wow. So when you have a pilot on the stick, they haven't found a way to hack his brain yet. They're working on it. I think that's Google Glass, you know.
This is blowing my mind. So he could take control as long as the plane was on autopilot.
If the plane was on autopilot,
he could manage
what he found he could do.
Could he fly it?
The first thing he found he could do is he could falsify the transponder location. He could tell the tower the plane was in a different location than where it actually was. Handy to have if you were going to try to hijack a plane, right? Second thing he found he could do is he could change the altitude of the plane. As long as he did it slowly, because any sudden altitude change, the pilot's going to, what the heck, and he's going to jump on the stick. So nice, easy, slow altitude change. He found that he could turn the plane. And commercial pilots don't use the rudder to turn the plane. Military pilots use the rudder because they don't really care about the comfort of their passengers. Commercial pilots turn the plane by increasing or decreasing power to the engines on either wing to turn the plane. So he could change the thrust to the engines and change the course of the airplane.
Wow. So what's the FAA doing about it? Because that you can't just know all of this and sit idle.
Today is April 15th. I know you will be, Mary. I know you probably are too. I'm writing a fatty tax check to my federal government today. It's my patriotic duty, right? So yeah, I'm writing this big tax check today, but it's good to know that my tax dollars are hard at work at organizations like the FAA. The FAA is now aware of the problem. My guess is they're going to hire this kid and bring him on and have him show how he did everything. But he basically demoed it at a conference. He didn't give the information that you would need to repeat it. And all he used, the thing that blows your mind about this is he didn't have a big fancy computer rig to run this. He did it with the same smartphone that I carry in my pocket. But that wasn't good enough for him because that's a lot of typing on the little screen. So he made an app for that.
Oh, wow.
So he didn't really, you're not going to find it in the marketplace. It's called Planesploit, like exploit, Planesploit. So he made an app. So to speed up the plane, you just tilt the phone forward. To slow the plane down, you just you want to turn the plane, you just use the accelerometer in the phone to control the plane.
Wow.
So you didn't even have to be typing on it. You could just be sitting there like this, controlling the airplane.
My husband is on a plane at this moment. So as we're having this conversation, the timing isn't great personally. Is there a time frame to fix I guess to secure the networks this guy was able to gain access to.
Yeah, now you have to profile the nerdy guys with Samsung Galaxy S3s. Those are the guys that don't get on the plane anymore. But basically, the FAA is hard at work at it. They say they should have this resolved somewhere inside of 2 years.
Right.
You're kidding.
Within the next 2 years, though.
2 years.
I mean, this guy gave the idea
2
for some other
years?
hackers to do that.
Oh yeah, now that it's out there that it can be done. I mean, and that's kind of what it takes. A lot of times you see this with companies. This used to be the way it worked with Microsoft. Some researcher would find an exploit in Windows, announce it, then turn around and say, okay, Microsoft, or he'd give it to Microsoft first. And Microsoft would sit on it for like 8 months. And he'd say, I gave you 8 months to fix this. I'm announcing it to the public now, and everyone's computer is going to get hacked because you didn't do your job. So what Microsoft eventually learned was when somebody comes to them with a tip, they have to, they give credit for the tip. They make the guy feel real important, real happy. They may even give him a little money to show him how they did it. And then they say, and as part of this, you're going to stay quiet. And we're going to fix the problem quickly. So the FAA, they say it'll take 2 years to fix it, because what we're talking about doing here is completely rewiring the way every single commercial plane in Europe and America communicates with a tower. Look at what happens in your house when you change your Wi-Fi password. How long does it take for you to get your printer back online?
But is there anything more important than passenger safety?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
money.
this says to no, it's not.
Otherwise, they'd fix it tomorrow.
Wrong. No, it has to. I don't understand when we make all of these changes. I mean, we're taking our shoes off, we're leaving our tweezers in the bins, we're doing everything we're supposed to do.
You can carry a 1 7/8 knife
now you can, right?
Question: how far does a box cutter come out of a?
Well,
1 7/8 inches.
Precisely, but I mean, we're doing all of these things, and over the years, we've followed every rule we're supposed to follow, and now we have a serious threat to passenger safety, and they're no more concerned than within a 2-year window.
A comment on our Facebook page probably summed it up best, how the public feels about it, which is probably why the FAA is not pressing it too much. A listener to my radio show commented, I'm not too concerned about what some hacker can do in a flight simulator.
Yeah. Well, you know what the FAA needs? Secure Updater. They need Secure Updater. Go to SchrockInnovations.com. Get that Secure Updater. 3 locations.
Mike's always good for a plug.
That's right. 3 locations. 2 in the Metro and 1 in Lincoln. 27th and Pine Lake Road right there.
Also on Facebook. Thank you, Thor, for coming in today.
Hey, I'm glad to share the good news.
That's right. Thanks for coming,
Now
Thor.
that my stomach is fully upset.
Well, it was just announced this previous weekend. No one writes an app that fast.
All right, thanks, Lawrence. Coming up, the local
That's the good
organization
news.
making a difference across the country. Keep kids alive, Drive 25.
And after the break, some of the new products on the market which might make spring cleaning less of a chore. We'll be right back.